right, hi there. This is Ms. Turk, and this is a recording of my Back to School Night presentation for 2022. So again, I'm Ms. Turk. I'm your child's honors chemistry teacher. So just a little bit about me. I've been teaching high school chemistry for 17 years. I majored in chemistry in college. I've taught in rural Arkansas, I've taught in Philadelphia, and now this is my 8th year teaching at Sun Valley. So I've taught lots of different types of students, rural, suburban, urban, and in lots of different types of schools. My goals for honors chemistry. A lot of my goals for your child comes from my own experience. I had a really, really good honors chemistry teacher when I was in high school. He was also my AP chemistry teacher in high school. I got a 5 on my AP chemistry exam. So when I went to college, I had a lot of doors open to me. As you know, a lot of different majors in science and engineering and the medical field, a lot of those majors require a chemistry course. And for too many students, I find that chemistry is a real stumbling block that can really prevent them from pursuing certain majors and pursuing certain careers. And that became very apparent to me when I got to college, and I realized that not everybody had the level of preparation that I had in high school, and it really made it hard for them to pursue the fields and the majors that they wanted to pursue. So that's really why I became a teacher, is I saw the power of high school teaching and how it could really open a lot of doors for students in terms of their choices about their future. So I try to be sure that your child gets a really thorough understanding of chemistry and chemistry content in a very deep and meaningful way. I also try to be sure that I teach the content in many different ways so that they're prepared for all styles of teaching and learning in college. So I do college-style lectures. I also do cooperative learning experiences. We learn from the textbook. We read it and study it. We do lab work. So as long as your child leaves high school comfortable with all those ways of learning, I feel like they'll be successful in any style of chemistry classroom in college. These are the supplies your child needs for honors chemistry. I think pretty much all of them have their supplies, but these are posted on Schoology. In terms of homework's not a huge part of their grade, but I find that it's the thing that families have the most questions about, obviously. So I try to post their homework assignments on Schoology at least 3 days ahead of time, if not more. That's not because their homework takes a long time. A lot of their homework is pretty quick assignments, but I just want them to have a lot of flexibility in terms of when they do their homework. Because I know they're really busy with work and extracurriculars and family obligations. So all their homework I post on Schoology at least 3 days ahead of time. There's one type of homework that's, the shortest homework is only worth 5 points. That's reading checks and pre-labs. Those cannot be turned in late. That deadline is fixed. Post-labs and problem sets are a little bit longer and worth more points, so those they can turn in a day late for half credit. But then at that point, I grade the homework, I give it back, and we go over the answers in class. So they can't turn it in after we've gone over the answers in class. I know as a student, I always found it really frustrating when I would turn in my homework on time, and then the teacher would wait a week for all the late homework to trickle in, and then finally give it back to us and go over the answers. And at that point, the feedback is not meaningful because it was so long since I actually did the homework. So I try to reverse that, and instead of waiting a week for the late homework to come in, I give them a week to do the work, but the deadline is firm so that I can quickly grade it and give it all back right away, go over the answers right away so that they can get feedback on how they did right away. So I am firm about deadlines. I don't want you to think that I'm unreasonable about deadlines, though. Of course, there's if your child's out sick, of course they can turn in homework late for full credit. Or even if they're here and there's something going on outside of school, just send me a quick email, and I'm happy to let them turn in their homework late for full credit or excuse them from homework if that's necessary. So I don't want you to think that I'm unreasonable. I'm just trying to teach them the value of firm deadlines, and I think it makes our course a lot more meaningful and can move a lot quicker that I have a good deadline routine in place. The other thing I want to highlight is just the way the gradebook looks from your student's perspective. I just want to talk about this orange hexagon. The orange hexagon with the missing symbol, when I put that in, that means your child can still turn it in for credit, whether it's full credit or half credit, depending on the circumstance. So I just want you to look out for that. I try to flag those assignments with that orange hexagon and the word missing so it stands out to them. So for example, this assignment, I think this student was absent. You know, they were out sick on the due date. That's the only reason they didn't turn it in. So of course they could turn it in for full credit. And I just put that in the grade book so that it kind of lets them know to turn that in. If you just see a 0 without that, that just means it's too late. That ship has sailed. So don't worry about those, but anything with the word missing, they can still turn in for credit. The other thing that I do that a lot of students find helpful is when I teach a lesson with a lecture, which is not every lesson, but when I do, I record my lecture and post it on Schoology. So if a student was absent, they could watch that, or if when they're studying for a test, a lot of students like to go back and rewatch the lesson and you know, re-listen to my explanations of the content. So you'll see those on Schoology as well. It's not assignments, it's just videos they can watch if they need to. So if your student is struggling, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I find with honor students, a lot of times the struggle is not that they're failing or about to fail, it's that they are feeling a lot of anxiety or maybe don't have a grade that's as high as they want. And sometimes I don't know that that's hard on them. You know, if I see a student with a B, you know, I think they're doing pretty well, but for that student, they may be very stressed about that and they may really want an A. And sometimes I don't know that. And it's helpful to, when parents reach out to me and let me know, oh, you know, my child is really anxious about their grade. Is it true that they are doing badly? And I can kind of reassure the parent that no, you know, a B is definitely not bad, but it's also just good for me to know when your child is experiencing a lot of stress because I want to get that stress down. So so feel free to reach out to me if you feel like your child's feeling too stressed out. And I'm of course available after school for extra help. Usually each unit I have 2 scheduled after school help sessions. I do one kind of before their problem sets due and then one a couple of days before the test. So those are 2 that I'll post on Schoology, but then they can also schedule after school extra help with me as well if they want to. My goal is that my teaching is so good and thorough in class that they don't need extra help. I mean, I would say for all my extra help sessions last year, I had an average of 1 student per session maybe. I find that students find my in-class time to be helpful and they feel like they learn the material through what they do in class and what they do in their homework. So my goal is that they don't need to come in for extra help. My goal is that they can learn everything they need to learn in class and through the homework. But of course, if they need extra help, I'm happy to help them, of course. All right, so I think that's about it. So thank you so much for watching this. I'm looking forward to this year in honors chemistry with your student, and feel free to reach out to me anytime. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.